Hi, Assel. Welcome to our next episode of our podcast, Ask Seda. We're turning our attention this week to LinkedIn. We've talked a lot about email in previous weeks, particularly things around data privacy and email best practice, but that LinkedIn is an equally great channel for B2B lead generation. Our topic today is tips for success in B2B lead generation. I introduced you to LinkedIn, right? You're the email guy and I brought LinkedIn to you. So can you summarize and tell us some of the things that you've learned about LinkedIn and its power for lead generation?
Starting with the disbelief in LinkedIn. So I never thought LinkedIn can be this powerful. Actually, the first client I ever got for email marketing, it came via LinkedIn. And still, I never thought LinkedIn can work. And you were the first one to introduce me to LinkedIn, I think, way back 2022, at the start of 2022, I think. And we always used to have the comparison of email is performing versus LinkedIn. But over the years, I think LinkedIn, I've changed my set of belief and I'm more of LinkedIn enthusiastic now because LinkedIn is super powerful, very different to email, but it can help you to win projects or business or build relationships, however you want to use it. I'll just, for today's topic, I'll just break the whole LinkedIn outreach into three segments. One would be the restrictions of LinkedIn, and second would be how you can how to set up your profile and how to look presentable on LinkedIn, or how to optimize basically your profile. And the third part would be then how to use LinkedIn to your benefit. So starting with the one, how LinkedIn outreach work. It's very smart as a company and they have a very brilliant framework. And they don't allow you to do cold prospecting in masses. So they are against it. They allow you to do networking, but they are, on the contrary, they don't want you to exploit the benefit of the platform. So LinkedIn has a policy where you cannot send up to 200, more than 200 connection requests per week, which everybody should know. A lot of people that I see use LinkedIn for their job hunting or network building, they generally exhaust their connection limit on the very first or second day, and they just add people, and it doesn't work like that. So you need to understand you can only add 200 people within a week, and once you have this restriction, you should know that you should only add the best 200 people in your LinkedIn profile or send connection requests to. So you'll have to do a lot of filterization around your target audience. For that, you can use LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which is a brilliant tool. I'm a huge fan of it personally. Through Sales Navigator, you can find the right leads that you want to talk to or you want to be in their network or part to be of their network. So with LinkedIn Sales Navigator, you can come up with a list of people that you want to connect and you can just send them the connection request. Secondly, LinkedIn doesn't allow any automation at all. I think in the previous episode, we talked about it as well. You can't use any automation at all. LinkedIn is very smart. They are going to identify if you are using any automation to do the outreach. They're gonna restrict your profile right away. The restriction or limitation of LinkedIn, I think, would be messages to the non-connection people. A lot of people don't really understand that you cannot send messages to the non-connected people. You can do that via InMail, but that's a premium feature, and you can only do it for 50 per week or 100 something. I'm not really sure, but it's a paid feature, and you can only just send one message, which they call InMail. You can only do that once with non-connection or a person who is not in your network. So these are the three basic restrictions of LinkedIn. And once you know, then you can just work towards the optimization of profile. I can talk about the optimization of the profile, but I think Jen, you are more qualified for it and suited person for it. So why don't you tell us about the LinkedIn optimization?
Yeah, happy to talk about that. Back to the point around LinkedIn skepticism, we tend to find that our clients or people are either keen for LinkedIn or anti it, or they're keen for email or anti it, and they tend to fall into two camps, saying, well, LinkedIn can't work because I don't like getting DMs on LinkedIn, or email doesn't work because I don't like getting emails in my inbox. And the reality is that both work, and both, unfortunately, a lot of people abuse both as well. So biggest advice to people is to use both as a dual track and to use them to the best of your ability. So find the right people, send the right message, and do so in a respectful way, offering lots of value. And I think if you have that approach, then LinkedIn works very well as a complement to email, and email works really well as a complement to LinkedIn. So to your point about optimizing your profile, I've filmed a whole training on this, so I'm happy to kind of add that in the notes below. But the real tips are to make sure that you abide by the 30-second rule, which is if someone looks at your profile for 30 seconds, can they tell very quickly who you help and how you help? So that usually entails you to have not only a clear photo of yourself, but a banner image behind your head that clearly outlines maybe what you do or how you help people. So a logo or a clear image of your profession. And then the bio underneath your name to have a sentence around who you help and how you help people. So for me, for example, would be helping B2B consultants generate new business leads using LinkedIn. We always recommend that you avoid just having your job title there, like CEO or founder, because down at your work record, we can see your job title, but that very first bio, you want to declare who you help and how you help people. So there's multiple sections on your profile: your about section, your work section, the recommendations section, your skills, content. All of these would require some time and attention. But rather than going into deep dive onto how to optimize your profile, I think the one thing to remember is your profile is not a CV and you're not looking for a job. It's a sales page. And the difference between a CV and a sales page is a CV is about you and your credentials and why someone would hire you. A sales page is about the company you help and the results you create and what they can achieve if you work with them. So really with that mindset, if you're able to talk about the people you help, the results you create, the types of qualities about them that make them a good fit for you and how they can get results, then it becomes a really powerful sales conversion tool when you're adding people, messaging people, and booking calls on LinkedIn.
About the resume versus sales page, I think that covers everything. And personally, me, again, back to 2022, I always thought of LinkedIn as a digital resume where you can just, look for a job, or I couldn't even think of LinkedIn as of hunting project. But now it's changed. Everybody knows that, but still people make the same mistake of designing their profile as a resume instead of a sales page. So spot on. The third part or the next part would be about sending of the messages, basically how to, once you have set up your profile, what LinkedIn is about, then how you can get the desired results. So if you want, I can just give few tips on it, or based on my personal experience, how to get the spotlight via LinkedIn messages. Or if you want, you can just go for it now.
Yeah, I think maybe it's helpful if you tell us with DMing people what to avoid and what to think of and how to think about success with your outbound DMs, because we all receive them,
Yeah.
and they're annoying and we ignore them. So
Correct.
what would make for success, basically?
The first thing would be, which is very obvious, is avoid generic messaging. Like, I would like to connect, and it's like super generic. Everybody does that. And whenever I receive something like this, I just no, it's a sales pitch and I don't want to connect it to that people. So it's a turn off right away. So avoid generic messaging, keep your message short. And third thing, again, as compared to email, LinkedIn is more like a conversational platform. So if you can work around your messaging in a conversational way, where you are asking the relevant questions or insightful questions, I think that would be a better way to get the traction instead of just putting up the sales pitch right away. Don't be, basically don't be pitchy. Sales, just don't be salesy at all. If you can't really think of turning your pitch into towards the question, then second way would be, if you can't really think of or if your service doesn't fit into the category where you can transform your pitch into insightful questions, then second way could be turning your messages into a value based offering where you are offering a free audit or a free strategy session or an ebook where people don't think you are being salesy, and instead you are trying to start a genuine conversation, and you are offering some kind of value. And third thing, once somebody has started engaging with you on LinkedIn, try to shift that onto either email or ideally towards a call. Like close the chapter from LinkedIn as quickly as possible, because if you just prolong the conversation on LinkedIn, people can get busy, and then something can come up and they are not on LinkedIn anymore and they haven't seen your message for 2 days. So once you have the interest of someone, try to ask them for their email, I'll just send you PDF or whatever that you are trying, whatever was your goal objective from value offering solution. Just go ahead with that and try to shift your conversation from LinkedIn to either email or ideally towards a call. Don't take forever to hunt them on LinkedIn, because again it can annoy people and you might just lose the interest of the person for various reasons. With the LinkedIn, the worst part is the inbox system. If somebody hasn't responded you overnight and they receive 5 or 6 messages, your message can go down the inbox and they might lose. It's not like they lost the interest. They might get busy and they might lose your profile there in the inbox, and the conversation might just lose the whole momentum. So move the conversation of the LinkedIn is something I always recommend, and my personal objective is always to move the conversation of LinkedIn.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on the value first stuff. Like, I think that's the critical piece around LinkedIn. And it really is the differentiator between the people that are spamming and pitching and saying, hey, I'm an SEO expert, here's my link, or do you want graphic design? Do you want, offshore staff? Do you want a software developer? The value first approach is really about, I've looked at your profile, I've chosen you as a good lead. I believe that I understand your business and I have something of value to offer you for a very important reason. And if you're not interested in that, you're not interested in the value, and that's okay. You don't have to have a free ebook or a free audit or a free strategy session, but our objective is to not annoy people with some random pitch, because that's when you get blocked, right? Or when people, disconnect or say aggressive things. And I would say the value first approach is pretty successful. Like, we very rarely get angry replies, right? And if people say no, but generally they're just no thanks and thanks, have a nice day. So I think that's the secret. Great. All right. Have we missed anything about LinkedIn lead generation success, Asl, for today's topic?
No, I don't think so. I think we've covered just the generic part of it, but if you want us to talk about in depth of it, we can maybe cover it in next episode.
Yeah, I think there's a lot we haven't covered, including how effectively to handle multiple profiles and how to make sure you coordinate between LinkedIn and email and do them at the same time, and how to achieve enough volume to hit the targets that you want to for enough sales calls every month. But I think, yeah, as you say, let's touch on that in the future episodes. All right. Thank you for your time today. See you in the next episode.
Thank you.